Hey guys, what's going on? FinKone here. This one's going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to be upfront and truthful. This one's a voiceover. I actually lost the audio file for this. I like to record my audio separate from the actual gameplay. It lets me kind of edit it up if I need to, if I have background noise or something. And I forgot to save that. So, we'll just do this standard patrol right now. We're just going to go ahead and respond to a fleeing suspect call we got. And, of course, we're going to bump there in code because we've already got somebody that's giving chase to somebody that's, attempting to evade police. And it's like, this is so weird just doing narration over top. I don't understand how people do it or why they prefer it. But I wanted to share this episode just because it was a pretty entertaining one. It was very enjoyable. And you see after that unit hit back there, I decided that we'll be taking primary on this. We barely catch up and see where we're going. We catch them going down the street here. And, I decided to try to play it cool. We got Jerry in the back of the vehicle, our K9 partner unit. And we're going to go ahead and do the typical stuff, keep them, highlighted with the spotlight as we kind of wait for backup units to get on us. And we don't know why they were fleeing, and we didn't want to end up as primary, but, AI, poor driving, that kind of thing can happen. And you can see I start to back off a little bit here because he's, just blowing through these red light intersections. And, I don't want to end up getting T-boned or something of that nature if a vehicle's swinging through when they got the right-of-way to a green light. And I know this pursuit didn't last long at first. I thought, hey, wow, this is coming to a peaceful end pretty quick. You'll see once we get some. I didn't call a helicopter. I just went with another backup unit because I was having a pretty easy time hanging with them. My mentality is don't use an asset unless you have to. Maybe somebody else will need that asset, and I don't want to tie it up. So I think that was the original unit that got stuck up in the park. He actually finally caught back up. And I knew he wasn't that far behind. And you can see right here, this guy starts booking it. We were hustling for, a residential area neighborhood. And he just perfectly slammed into that. And I was waiting for the other unit to kind of back up. I wanted to keep him boxed in. He kind of had my door stuck right there. I didn't want to kind of get out and have him a chance to hit me right away. But we barely avoid getting hit by that cop car right there. And we get this guy out at gunpoint. But the funny thing is as I'm trying to handle this guy, and I was hoping the AI would handle the other guy, his passengers stole the car and started to flee. So I decided, okay, they got this guy at gunpoint. That situation's under control. He gave up. We need to get back onto that guy that's taken off because now he's a threat. But if you look, if you pay close attention, you can see he just started to dart off as I was pulling away. He decided, okay, I can get away. FinKone's leaving. The legendary cop is gone. Now I'm just using the siren sounds from other police that are chasing him to kind of get a bearing. And you can see I knew he was to my left. That's why I was looking that way. And I'm like, okay, this guy's definitely down here somewhere. I see another unit jolting towards him, heading to the west, so I decided to bolt over that way. And sure enough, the guy's popping out right in front of me.
If you don't pull over, I will pull you.
So always, I try to give him the chance to pull over, give him verbals, let him know to de-escalate the situation. His car's already jacked up. He hit that. Well, he didn't hit it. His buddy hit that pillar pretty hard, and he just 1050'd into somebody. And at that point, I was leery about getting hit from behind from this unit, so we let him take number one, and we killed our spotlight not to blind that unit. And at that point, that's when I decided that we were having trouble keeping up, mainly because this primary guy was going pretty slow. You'll see the cops drive differently sometimes. This guy sucked. Sometimes they're actually pretty good. And it got to the point where I thought this guy was going to get away. I started to lose track again just because, I try to keep realism and safety to the utmost. Then I see these guys come streaming in front of me. He had another unit on him. So this started turning into a big pursuit, a big chase. And we finally, up here, I know once we make this right is where I decided that we needed to attempt a pit. And we find a good spot. There's no people around. It's kind of a low property damage zone. And we get a nice, clean, soft pit on him. So we got two backup units. They're getting out. We go ahead and get out at gunpoint. And, we try to get him to comply. I'm telling Jerry, like, get out of the car. Let's get ready to hit this dude. But he gave up right as Jerry was getting out. And he goes in for the cuff. And that's when I realized that that big cop over there, the fat boy, is going to chase down the other suspect that took off once I took off to go get this guy. And I'm like, are you serious? This guy's still running? So we realized that he's just north on the block up through here. So we load up with Jerry. And it's at this point I'm like, wow, this is turning into like a big thing. We got cops everywhere. Neither of these suspects want to give up. We finally got the second guy who started out as the passenger and turned into the driver. We got him in custody. And then I realized I see this guy swinging because the helicopter lit him up. So I got my spotlight out on him. And we're going to try to get him to surrender without, because like he's got to be low on wind. This guy's been running for a hot minute now. And the other guy that made the arrest down there, like, I guess he's going after those promotion points and statistics because he just comes right up and cuffs the dude, no issue. So that was all in all, that was a pretty fun chase. Like, we responded to somebody evading, and you know, we joined the pursuit. We ended up taking the primary for a hot minute, and when the first suspect, the driver, tried to like surrender, and I thought he was going to comply and give up, and I wanted to go after the other one, he took off running. So it was pretty cool, like, to see how wild they were acting. And I knew the cops and the cleanup was going to be horrible for this one, and usually I don't like to let the things unfold like this because it'll mean the game's going to crash or it won't have much longevity. But, you know, I decided to go back to the scene and kind of handle the cars, kill some of the lights, and you know, then move out to cleaning the cars up. And you know, I didn't want to delete this footage because I thought it was pretty fun. It was a really fun episode, and I wanted to share it, but I lost the audio file to it. And like, I feel really out of my element doing this voiceover commentary type thing. It's not my style. I like to just kind of flow and talk as I play. And it's weird watching me play and then commentating it afterwards. I don't know how some people do it. So, you know, we go ahead and do the typical things. We check the trunk, see if we got anything illegal in the trunk. We're going to get the vehicle towed. And then we'll start to step off of this one and go back on shift. But it was an interesting pursuit. Usually they don't happen like this. Usually the primary driver, he'll give up and he'll stay put. But he was like, nope, I'm done. Like, he's leaving. I feel like I can flee too. So that's been pretty decent. But in May, I'm pretty excited because the .NET Rage hook will be coming out. And that's from people that I feel really know what they're doing. They're really going to start to give me the tools to play around with 5 like I want to. And, I mean, I'm getting a little frustrated because I'm using someone else's .NET hook right now. And it piggybacks off of the script hook 5. And it just doesn't do it well. So I was actually pretty surprised to see him come. The officer actually came back, and he's taking that one guy down to the precinct that he cuffed. I don't know what happened to the second one. I lost accountability. As you see, instantly we get another call in the park for the same type of person, and we start bumping there. And I know we'll go code 3 in a second here with lights. And I can see him right there up to my 12 o'clock in the park. He's actually doing donuts in the park, like, just kind of driving around in circles. And we just as we were pulling up, we watched him strike the building, and the guy's just going nuts in this little CRX. And the call we got was a suspected drunk driver, which I don't like. I mean, it's a large assumption, but every time you get a suspected drunk driver, you know they're gonna be drunk. He wanted to pull over back there in that intersection, but that was just a real bad location. So of course we light him up, and we'll do our normal things like run the plate and get information before we step out. And I'll have Jerry stay put in the car, just because, you know, I don't think I need him out here at this point. I don't want him to get hit by traffic. And you know, this is like, it's difficult dealing with the drunk people because they stagger around all over the place. So we kind of just do our normal smorgasbord of running the name, running the ID, and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, with the .NET frame hook that I'm using now, it's not that great because it has really limited amount of functions that you can call, and I end up using all like the native calls, and you get to a point where like, well, every call I'm doing is native. I might as well be coding in C++, even though I'm not as fluent or as happy in C++. So I went ahead and ordered him out just because I suspected he's drunk at this point, just from how he was driving. I witnessed him have an accident in an area that he shouldn't even been driving an automobile. And I'm trying to push him out of the way of traffic. I'm not trying to cuff him or arrest him or anything right now. I'm just trying to get him to the sidewalk for his own safety. And, you know, I don't care if he passes out right there on the grass. That's great. And, you know, we go about trying to go ahead and get the cuffs straight on him. After we go for a frisk, I want to make sure he doesn't have anything on him. But you can see, like, I usually don't accept these callouts too much just because of how long they take to deal with the drunk. And, you know, it just becomes this huge issue of, can I get in there before he starts staggering and stumbling and falling again? And as you can see, I barely got the frisk there. He's kind of staggering around. So we go straight up for the arrest this time, and I try to keep it as quick as I can, but this guy's just completely trashed. And we go ahead and place the cuffs on him before he starts bebopping and falling all over the place again. And we call for another transport. We don't take them ourselves. Again, we're kind of the K9 unit. I'm not going to put a suspect in the back there right by the dog. Generally, K9 units don't get tied up by this type of thing. They're more so an asset that gets called. Like, you could think of them as like the helicopter. They kind of get called onto the scene. They're used for their resource that, you know, they're used for their resource that's they're positive for, you know, in terms of tracking somebody or detection of drugs or anything of that nature. And then they clear off. And in general, they're really light in terms of what they're required to do in paperwork and processing. So we went ahead and decided to tow the vehicle. Guy's completely trashed. You know, we're going to impound his vehicle due to that. We're going to make the assumption that it is his vehicle. And then we kind of just play the waiting game of sitting in the vehicle to hopefully let this guy get into the car. And as you can see, he just like moves a couple feet, stumbles, falls. Mr. Drunk Guy again. But, you know, I still wanted to share this episode with you primarily because the first chase, I figured I would wrap it up with kind of a normal traffic stop arrest that, you know, I have a lot. And right here I was trying to just get traffic to halt because this guy's like completely drunk. And don't worry, this isn't my new style. I'm not going to be doing it's like secondhand commentation on videos that I do. I don't enjoy this. It doesn't really feel fluid for me. It feels kind of awkward watching me replay and, you know, disseminating the information as it goes. Like, I felt like I was struggling to talk sometimes. And, you know, I did this because I wanted to share this episode, and, you know, I prefer not to be, like, I guess fake. It's kind of looked down upon to do secondhand commentation on a video, but I still wanted to share it, and I look forward to bringing you guys some more. I know me and Steve are going to try to sit down here shortly and do some more, and I'll catch you at the next one, guys.